Hello everyone, you are most welcome to my channel. Today we shall be learning how to geolocate IPs with Python. My name is Ronnie Atfaire, aka Afroboytex, and I'm glad that you chose this particular type of content on my video. Please, if you like this content, subscribe, hit that like button, that notification bell, and we are good to go. So what are we going to do today? So today we are basically going to use a freemium version of an API, because in the next video I might look at the premium version because it offers more. But before we get started, why would you want to do this? You would want to do this maybe to track down digital footprint of this particular user, website visitor, or kind of. Then you will also want to do some web translations for this particular, just get to know where this user is coming from, and you automatically translate your website, your web app. Then maybe you want to restrict content according to the geographical location of this user. Maybe you want users of only a country or certain country to access your content. That's why you will need something like this. So today we are going to do this using Python, and you only need 3 libraries. One is going to be the JSON library, which is basically a lightweight data format for data interchange, which can actually be easily read and written by humans, easily parsed and then generated by machines. Requests, we all know requests are a very beautiful Python HTTP library for humans, actually not even meta-humans. So we're also going to use something that is called Geo-Location DB. Geo-Location DB is basically a free database for IP addresses that allow us to determine the visitor's location through that range of databases that we provide. They actually provide this free of charge, and it's actually unlimited, whereby you use this API unlimited, and then you could do whatever you want to do. Though being unlimited, it offers limited services. Yeah, we all know free things come at a cost. In the long run, you don't achieve what actually you want to achieve. So this is the article I wrote about this particular type of IPs. So today I will be making a video. I'll also leave the link in the description. You can hit it up to read more about IP addresses and how you can geolocate IPs. So I've already created my file, so we're going to start by importing requests. So if you don't have requests, you have just pip install requests, and that's it. You're good to go. JSON, you don't need to pip install anything, because JSON come with a standard library. So you just say import JSON. Yes, that's it. We shall use this for now. So I'm going to just use to get an IP address. I'm going to get any IP address I need, so I can actually have any random IP I choose to make. So for example, I can just say let it be 200.45. is it there? No, let's say, because sometimes this IP address types also, let's say 200.229.22 dot, let's say 2.90. This is just a random IP I've created. You can create yours. If you have if you know any other public IP address, you could use that. Then our endpoints, I'm going to call it the request URL. I'm going to call it a variable name called request URL. So let me look for this URL. It's called Geo-Location DB, then JSON. So as you see, if you hit this URL, the callback is basically country code. For example, I didn't provide it with my IP address. As you can see, it automatically now captures my IP address, my public IP in other words, which is 81.199.139.4. so basically what it does, I didn't give it any email address, but automatically I didn't give it, sorry, any IP address, but automatically picks the IP address where you're hitting it from. So you can see it's giving us all this information that we have. So if I remove this, okay, if I copy this, Control C, or if I actually here, if I added an IP address, for example, let me say this, if it is there anyway, and you hit it, you see what it brings. So that means we just need to change the last digits, where you just need to put your IP with the information that you need. For example, this IP address has returned that this is a country in Australia, and the city, it is Narangba, postal code, latitude, longitude. Then it also gives us the IPv4 that we're actually hitting, then the state. We can actually go with this. I'm going to copy this, it's what we're going to use in our file as our IP address. So I will paste it here. Then I'll copy this endpoint, Control C, Control V. So what I need to do actually now is to format this. Formatting this, it means basically it means that that's where we're going to put our IP address. So I'm going to put it here, my IP address. So because we want to pass this dynamically, so I'll put here F. If I wanted, actually I would just hard code this here, but let's just use this formatting. Then we proceed. So we want to actually be able now to get the request, to make an HTTP request using our request to library. So there we can call this response, the variable, and the response is going to be a get request. So it's going to be request.get. Then we get this URL. Then after getting that URL, we need to decode the content. So let's first print and see if the status we have, the response status is what we need. Let's first say print response. So if we come, just to be sure that we are working on a clean state. So if we come and did pi, our file's name is called Geo-Pi. So it is pi, Geo-Pi. Should be able to get us 200 yes HTTP status. This means that actually are successful hitting the endpoint. So we can comment this out. Now we need to decode the content. Now we need to get information from there. So we can just call this maybe result. We say response dot content decode. So what this basically does is it brings that information. Let's first print it out and we'll see what it brings. Print result. So come back, run your file again. See? So you see our information is being called just like the information we have in our browser. If you see, it's actually bringing a callback function. So it has this function actually has our information that we need in the JSON format. So what next now is to be able now to strip and you get the information we actually want. So we can use strip and split methods in Python to be able to achieve this. So actually let me first comment this out. I can actually delete it. We don't need it anymore. So maybe let's begin by creating another result variable, which is going to take the result that we had on top there, and then we shall now split this result. We shall split it at this denomination, which is going to be actually a left parenthesis. So if we now printed to see what we have in a terminal, we should be having a list. Yes, so it splits callback from here. So it splits it according to the delimiter that you've specified. For example, using this parenthesis as a split helper, then we see that we actually have some other closing one that is remaining. So to remove this last one, since this is an array, we can access this this element by first index. So this is 0 and this is 1. So to remove this last one, we just have to come, then we access our first element in that list. Then now we can actually perform our stripping. So strip basically removes also the last, it just removes that element you specify. If you do strip, wherever it finds it, but you can also do arrow strip, I think so, but let's just go for strip right now. Let's print this result and we'll see if it is moving well and good. Yeah, perfect. So we have our information coming through that we need. Yes, that's it. Basically we have our information coming. Maybe one last thing that we may need to do is maybe we want to write this information to we need to write this information to a JSON file. That's why actually we're going to use JSON. So let's first comment this out. So I'm just going to say with open, this helps us create a new file. With open, let's create a file, we call it geo.json. It's going to be our file that we shall write a data in a write mode, that is a W. You can add a plus, append a plus. We shall open this file as an out file. Then now we can be able to perform just a second. Then we can be able now to perform the writing operation. So I'll say out file dot write result. Write result. Now after writing result, you want to convert this data into a dictionary. So what you're going to do for you to be able to achieve that, you can just say result, then you say JSON loads, then you load the result, then you can be able to print it out as a type of dictionary. Print result. The reason why you're doing this, because this result that we're achieving from here, it's actually not a JSON format, it's basically a string. Let me repeat this. Let me first comment this and we'll see the type of this result that we have here. To see the reason why you're changing this into a dictionary. So if you printed this, it should be, yeah, see. So basically this information we have here is a string. So to be able to change a string into a dictionary, we need to load it using JSON, so that we can be able to perform operations onto it. So basically this is a string result that we have here, that we are taking through in here. We are writing it now as a string object as a JSON, but here now we need to load it as a dictionary. So this now, if you did a type here, it should be a dict type. So let's try running this again now and see. Exactly, it's a dict type. So now here, now you can perform your operations that you want to perform. Now you know for this particular user. Maybe now in your application you may want to get the app. You might want to use tools like what's my IP address and all that, these other tools to be able to dynamically generate the user's IP and locate where they are. Maybe one last thing, this information that you have is not actually looking nice in the terminal, in the console. One last thing, I'm going to import something called pretty print. Pretty print helps us to print stuff beautifully in the Python console. So let me just initiate it here with pretty printer. We shall give it an indent of 4. Then now we can actually, instead of printing using the default printer, we can actually pp.print. We can pp.print you can pp.print our result and see what it looks like right now. So if you go back to the terminal, wow, the information is now arranged the way we want it. So this is actually more clearer. You see, it just gives everything on its own list, on its own line. So longitude, apostitude, the state. That's it for today. Thank you so much for everything, and if you really liked this content, please subscribe and have a great one.